We got some shock news out of Nvidia today. They've basically cancelled the cards they were going to use to compete against AMD's big Navi, i.e. with the RTX 3080 20GB and the 3070 16GB, which is the one I was planning to buy. The 16GB RTX 3070 have now been cancelled. Cancelled, not postponed, but cancelled. Which means not to expect these cards anytime soon. Probably for a good 6 months at least. What does this mean? Why have these cards been cancelled that would have been in high demand? Well, two reasons come to mind. Firstly, there's clearly a supply issue surrounding GDDR6X memory, which is impacting on the ability of Nvidia to supply the cards it has launched to date and unable to meet demand for, i.e. the 3080 and 3090. Whilst the 3070 that uses regular GDDR6 memory has now been delayed until the 29th of October, and you never know, could be delayed again. But why is the 3070 16GB card being scrapped? After all, it uses regular GDDR6 memory. It either means that GDDR6 is also in very short supply, likely due to Nvidia's big Navi Radeon 6000 series cards use of GDDR6, or that Nvidia does not want gamers to buy the 3070 16GB instead of the 3080 10GB, which is what they would be more likely to do given that there is no more 3080 20GB. Whilst the second reason could be that Nvidia has concluded that AMD's big Navi is a big nappy flop that won't live up to expectations, and thus they don't need to rush out with AMD competing cards, but instead will focus on meeting their very high demand for the RTX 3080 cards. Whilst this also means that neither will AMD have much stock on the announcement date to meet demand if GDDR6 really is scarce. So it looks like most gamers are going to have a crap Christmas, as the short supply of RTX and likely big nappy cards is going to continue for some time as a consequence of the pandemic hyper demand, with many millions of extra people sat at home looking at upgrading or new gaming rigs to help them pass the time. Anyway, it's bad news for me too, as I was aiming for a new PC system based on a Ryzen 5950X 64GB RAM and a 16GB RTX 3070. Looks like now I'm going to have to wait to see what's in stock mid-November. Maybe have to opt for an RTX 3080. We'll have to see what the situation is a month from now. Whilst it remains to be seen if AMD will also be able to meet demand for its Ryzen 5000 series of processors. Bad news, disappointed the same as all of you out there watching this video. Let's hope a month from now the situation has improved, so at least we can get a high spec system. Otherwise it looks like we're going to have to be waiting till January.